In a previous video, we used the process known as brokering to create and publish a set of service designs, allowing us quick and easy access to provision resources in AWS through our image aggregation providers and deployment resource providers set up for AWS. In this video, we're going to use those service designs to create an aggregated offering, exposing a service in our catalog, making it available through the self-service portal to end users for request. To do so, we're going to use our mega menu, and under Plan, we're going to go to the service catalog. In a previous video, the catalog categories and service definitions should have already been created, so I'm going to select from our category, and I'm going to select our service definition. That brings me over to our offerings. From here, there are two different types of offerings. There is a standard service management offering, but through cloud management, we also have access to an aggregated offering. The aggregated offering is what ties us to those service designs. Again, the service design and definition was generated automatically through that brokering process, and selecting the CentOS image from that marketplace list of images, I was able to provide that just with a couple of clicks, and we have access to this CentOS resource. So I'm going to go ahead and select it, click Next, and you'll notice that I can't change anything other than the display label at this point, but it is tied to a service design. The service design was generated automatically through that brokering process. If I click on Save and Edit, it'll take me to the standard service management service offering. There are a couple of exceptions to that. This is an aggregated offering, and as an aggregated offering, we are tied to that service design. This is not something that's available in a regular service management offering, and it's also not something that we can change. I can't edit, I can't remove, I can't update this. The offering is tied to that service design through the selection we made on the previous screen. You'll also notice that by default it comes in as a status inactive, so it's not going to show up in any service catalog unless we make it active. Whether the end users can see it or not, that goes back to some entitlement rules, and we do have some other videos that will explain entitlement rules and how we can provide the ability for only certain operators to be able to see these service designs. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to active. I can also go in and I can set some default values. Now the default values up top here are going to be standard service management request inputs. Under the user options section, these are also defined by that brokering process and the service design that was generated. Some of these are values that we can set, like this server count. We can create one instance or multiple instances under the same request. We can also select a resource provider. But most of the rest of these are dynamic lists that are generated at request time, and I don't have the ability to set a default value. So when the end user goes in and fills out this form, they will actually have a list of options populate here, but they are natively going to rely on one another. So I won't have the access to select an instance type until after I select a platform type, and that platform type is only going to be available when the end user makes the request. So for now, we're going to leave all these blank, but the thing you can see is that they are all required. This little red asterisk indicates that they are required attributes. So we cannot provision it unless there's a value in each of those, but it will be up to the end user to set some of these values. I also have a task plan. The design, the service design itself, gives us this fulfillment lifecycle that matches the old cloud automation lifecycle. If you're familiar with that, we have the ability to create, modify, and cancel a subscription. Each of those tasks are tied to an OO automated task. Again, the OO flow that is used, the inputs that are required, and those user options were generated dynamically using that brokering process. From here, I can go in and I can set that aggregated offering. If I hit save, it's going to make it available in the service catalog. The entitlements, user options, roles, and groups are going to determine whether or not an end user has the ability to see this in the service catalog or not, but if we go back to the service catalog now and take a look at that, you'll see under our category and our service definition that we now have a service offering that's available. The fact that it's bold shows us here that it is an active offering. The rest of these are also offerings. They're not active, so they won't show up on any portal anywhere other than this list. I can also filter down to just the active ones or just the inactive ones, but for now we have an aggregated image offering tied to that CentOS image. We're going to go through the same process again to publish some private images for our Jenkins build as well as our CMS UD probe server.